Storm's brewing.
This was an unforgettable hiking trip. We encountered many challenges, experienced local culture, saw incredible sights, and had many laughs along the way.
These are lime kilns. 2 semi-detached lime kilns.
I'm so happy I kept a journal to remember all the little things that happened each day, and now we can share some of them with all of you.
This section of the trail was still a work in progress, so at the time it hadn't been signposted yet. There were multiple times we had no clue where to go and would have to read the guidebook very carefully to get back on track. We were mostly wild camping on this hike, so at the end of each day we found a discreet spot off trail to set up camp.
We quickly realized we had made the mistake of assuming shops would be open to restock our supplies. It was December and most businesses had shut down for the season. Water sources were scarce on this trail, and we were already out of water when we started the day with a steep scramble up to La Trappa Monastery. Built in 1810, the settlement is now a nature reserve under restoration. We found the construction site deserted that day, but workers had left jugs of water that we quickly pilfered for coffee and to refill our bottles. It kinda tasted funny.
This day was full of excitement. Now that we were hydrated, we could fully enjoy the magnificent views of Sa Dragonera. On the way down to the next town, the weather changed to hail and then pouring rain. We arrived in Ses Frontenalis soaking wet and cold, so we took cover under a balcony next to a stand with fresh oranges and water bottles for €1. We dropped some coins into the jar, and then a man named Patrick appeared and invited us back to his hostel, which was actually closed for the season, but he was kind enough to give us shelter and 2 beers for the night. Storm's brewing. Stayed in the hostel last night. Need to get over the mountain pass before this storm hits again.
We weren't sure what kind of weather we were about to encounter.
It's hailing again.
Patrick had informed us the night before that there was a bad storm coming. It was extremely windy, but otherwise not so bad. We hiked down into the town of Estelances just as shops were closing for siesta. We managed to grab a coffee and some almond cake at a small roadside cafe. Our food supply was getting extremely low at this point. All we had was some cheese, a couple pepperettes, and something called Bean Feast. So when I stumbled across a bag of pecans and a fresh orange on the trail, I didn't think twice about eating it. Looks like we're having Bean Feast for dinner.
On day 4, we awoke to many locals walking on the path below us. There was a 5-foot stone wall on either side of the trail, and we had climbed up the wall and hill to set up our tarp. As we peeked out and looked down, we saw a man with a large gun stroll by. We would later realize that we were near a large game hunting area. For breakfast, we ate the remaining cheese and pepperettes, because in 2 hours we'd be in the large town of Esperelis, and we're quite positive we would be able to stock up there. At least we had lots of coffee.
Sun behind us.
Esperelis was the first town that didn't seem deserted. We were able to get bread at a bakery, have hamburgers and beer at a bodega, and stock up at the supermarket. Bellies now full, we slowly started hiking back up the hill. Camp for the night. Night hiking in the snow.